Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Gyro. Today is going to be a very interesting video, probably one of my favorite themes and times in World of Warcraft's existence, kind of cycle, life cycle, so to speak. We're going to be talking about the rumors, leaks, and my predictions for the next expansion and patch 10.0. We will talk about the potential theme, potential classes, races, likely features, and even maybe we'll talk a little bit about the release date. Additionally to that, I will just share with you my thoughts about the 9.2 flying finally being unlocked. It's not worth recording a separate video for it, so I'm just going to mention it at the tail end of this video. You can always use the chapters to fast forward or just listen to me talk to you in this joyful way throughout the video. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like more from me going forward while I have your attention, subscribe now and like the video if this is your cup of tea. So, 10.0 predictions and rumors. Well, we will talk about very briefly about some leak-based kind of theme guesses for the new expansion, and I will also try to straight away discard a couple of them for you so that you don't bother reading the forums or don't bother that kind of stuff. Even though now normally I always encourage people to form their own opinions, and I do now as well, but some of them are just not worth your attention, and I already took one for the team, so to speak, and read a little bit today on the forums. So here is my summary. So first of all, one of the leaks, one of kind of themes that are on the forums right now dominating is coming from someone who on MMO-Champion forums tried to zoom in and kind of pay attention to John Hyde's recent official blue post where he allegedly misspelled, kind of encouraging us to tune in April for the next announcement of the future adventures, your adventures in Azeroth, he said, in Azeroth. Well, according to the author of this post on the forum, he thinks that that is on purpose, and he thinks that John Hyde is suggesting a literally in Azeroth expansion, which might suggest underground themed expansion, Nerubians, Spider Kingdom, that kind of stuff. There used to be also a very old leak a few years ago already called The Dark Below. But I think as cool as it all sounds, it's highly, highly unlikely, technically less appealing than it sounds right now, kind of just on a blank sheet of paper or reading on the forums, and it's just a misspelling. I honestly think that a lot of people just like me are bored, they wish the better for World of Warcraft, but they're bored and they're clutching to straws. They're just basically I think they're taking things out of context and overthinking it a little bit too much. So I would not bother with that leak if it ever reaches your ears or eyes. Second leak that somehow found its way into MMO-Champion forums, and it's kind of closer to truth, I think, and I'll talk about my predictions in a second. But this leak is called Ashes of Galakros, or Galakaros. It's a dragon-themed expansion, but the author of the leak, I think, took it a bit too far. It's a far-fetched leak suggesting that we will get Tinkers as a class. And further on, I won't even bother listing all the different features there of the leak, but further on, this person is suggesting things that have nothing really, they would not justify logically the existence of Tinkers. I think a person is just in probably primary or high school, and I don't think they just thought it through very well, simply expressing their wishful thinking in a form of a leak. So Ashes of Galakaros is a no from me. The third one, worthy of attention because it talks a little bit about space and void and other kind of things. It's apparently from 4chan, Chinese forums, where a lot of leaks originated from in the past, but that was more like 10 years ago, the last leak that was worth your attention coming from there. It's called The Cosmic Forces, apparently with 5 new zones, cosmic path system, new artifact weapons, and a lot of cosmetics. While I believe that Blizzard will invest a lot of time into cosmetics because it's much cheaper to produce and much cheaper to fill up the game with this fluff, so to speak, I still do think that it's a very underbaked, lazy leak that is absolutely not worth anyone's attention. But I'm very surprised that something as underbaked as that has even penetrated MMO-Champion forums that are known to be very, very critical. So it's not worth your attention. Finally, some final thing here, kind of for completeness, Empire of Dragons. suggesting again a draconic expansion and suggesting a natural, a kind of neutral, sorry, not natural, a race of dragonkin. Apparently they can sprout wings and glide like demon hunters and can be of different classes depending on their alignment. Are they red dragonflight? Are they green dragonflight? Then they're healers and so on and so forth. All right, so my personal summary and prediction based on this, based on a lot of other kind of stuff, based on a lot of YouTube videos that I was watching in the background, kind of listening to people who are, you know, analyzing. No one seems to have solid information because sometimes some creators of below gaming level, Preach Gaming back in the day while he was doing WoW, they at least suggested that they know, and then you try to read between the lines of their videos to try and understand what stands and what doesn't. Look, I don't know if we're gonna get Dragon Isles or not, but I will put my 2 cents into the jar that bets on 10.0 being of draconic nature. So it's gonna be a dragon-based expansion, basically. I do not know if it is going to have anything to do with actually Dragon Isles, but I think it's very, very likely. And there are lots of subtle and not so subtle hints regarding unresolved draconic problems, origins, where did Rathian go, what did Bronze Dragonflight get up to in the meantime, and all that kind of stuff. I think it's time to bring us back to Azeroth. Yeah, I'm not particularly original here. I do believe that that's going to happen, and I think that some form of dragon something is going to happen. I think that's going to be the main theme, basically. As far as the new class is concerned, on forums currently there is a battle between Tinkers. Tinkers have been at it for a long time, for the past like 2 expansions, and I think they're losing again. They are wishful thinkers. I wish them, those Tinkers, they're wishful thinkers. And then obviously all those leaks and all those speculations about the dragon-based class, which is a lot more likely. I do believe so. My another 2 cents goes into the betting jar of the new class having draconic nature. And at least 3 specs. Some leaks are suggesting 4 specs. I do not think so, but at least 3 specs: tank, healer, DPS, to give everyone something to do, to bring everyone who was lost from WoW back into 10.0. Just for that reason, they need to give a job to everyone. If a person was a healer and they left, they need to have a reason to come back. If a person was a tank and they left, they need to have a reason to come back. It's a very simple analytical process. People talk also about this neutral or not so neutral, probably neutral if it happens, race of dragonkin, something like that. I think the new race per se is unlikely. What I think is more likely is some form of transformation, such as druidic forms. So it's going to be just a class available to some of the existing races. I do not know, I'm not going to go into that pedantic predictions like is it night elves, is it Draenei, whatever, but I think that we will get a new race, sorry, new class, but not a new race. I don't think so. I think it's going to be just transformation with forms, similar to druids, even if it's only one form, even if they just have a draconic form of different color. That is probably where I would going to go with. And then further customizations, probably similar to what we get in Barbershop, or allied race style, depending on what kind of dragonflight you are, possibly. That is what I'm thinking. As far as the new continent is concerned, yes, I think that there will be a new continent, absolutely, as any other expansion has ever done. And I know I said I don't know about Dragon Isles specifically, but if I had to think about Draconic expansion, it has to be Dragon Isles. It has to be Dragon Isles, or something of that nature. Some leaks also, and both my personal thoughts are that they're talking about the new race and class combinations finally being permitted. I do think that that's long overdue. It's relatively easy to implement on Blizzard's side of things, and I think that that is probably and hopefully likely. It would be great, and I can't see just why not. Because people who might not be attracted by dragons, I don't know who you are and why, what's wrong with you, but I would personally just come back for, let's say, a new race class combo of Draenei Warlocks, or Eredar Warlocks, basically, yeah? I would just come back for that, personally, at least for a while. Finally, as far as features are concerned, I think that player housing has failed as a system since its attempt of Blizzard to implement that in the form of garrisons in a while ago, Warlords of Draenor. And I think that they're due for another try because it's probably the biggest, the highest requested feature from the community. If community asks for anything still other than just clean up the game, reduce the amount of time gated systems and all that kind of stuff, I think that player housing is long overdue for overhaul and some form of system that they could give us that would allow us to basically have a place called home. Yeah, so I think that player housing is likely. And if player housing will be introduced, I don't know, it's a big if, of course, but I think if it is introduced, then there will also be a new profession. So there'll be a profession, I don't know what the name is going to be, but it is going to focus on furniture and decorations manufacturing and sales. Using potentially materials, maybe there'll be also a gathering profession that will allow you probably to harvest lumber. I'm thinking lumber harvesting of sorts and furniture making, basically. And also other professions such as leatherworking is going to be able to also produce some things that could be used in that furniture making. That is what I think is going to happen. That's all as far as as leaks of 10.0 and my predictions for 10.0 are concerned. We will see shortly what actually happens. And now finally, just my very quick thoughts on 9.2 flying finally being opened after a new chapter of the main campaign got released this week in Zereth Mortis. Are things better now in Zereth Mortis? Unsurprisingly, of course they are much better with flying, because flying was a core system designed to be in place for you to be able to find all the treasures, get to rare spawn locations quickly enough, etc, etc. While it was missing for 3 weeks since 9.2 launch, it felt like a gaping hole that I was criticizing so much in my past couple of videos after my temporary WoW resurgence. So bringing a fresh alt to Zereth Mortis now feels much better. It doesn't feel like a massive self-punishment exercise, but instead it feels almost a little bit exciting, I would dare say. Although for me personally, the shallow bottom of this game design still shows pretty quickly, but credit where it's due. If you have a brand new naked alt joining the game with flying right now, during the week 4 of patch 9.2, you will have a ton more to do and can have a little bit of fun, even without a group of Mythic Plus or raiding friends. One last advice here is if you want to have fun, particularly have fun, install a Rare Scanner add-on. What about me and my plans then? Well, just like any WoW veteran who keeps their fingers crossed for a substantial game improvement with the release of the new expansion, I will keep an eye on what they have in store for us with the upcoming official announcement of 10.0. I will probably find something to talk to you about between now and then too, of course, but if you're time poor, just pop into the channel after the official announcement if you would like my take on it all, because I will definitely get my magnifying glass out then and review every little feature they've revealed, welcoming a friendly discussion in the comments, as I always did. For now though, my 1 month subscription runs out in a week. I'm only interested in one more thing in Shadowlands before any new content is released, however far off that might be. That one thing is to resubscribe for Legion Time Walking and get that werebear form that I wanted for a very long time and I still don't have it. And yes, I still want it. Depending on how much of a self-torture it ends up being, my plans are to resub around 12th of April, when, according to the in-game calendar, we'll have another Legion Time Walking and Mage Tower will be open for my druid to go for it. Beyond that, I honestly don't expect anything else casually exciting for me to do in WoW. So that's as much time as I'm going to commit to WoW until the next expansion releases patch 10.0, and I hope it's not as crap thematically as BFA was, and not as fragmented and saturated with time-gated annoying systems that exist just to slow you down and make you pay more and stay subbed for longer in Shadowlands. Here's to a brighter WoW future for all of us, my friends. Like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay tuned if you haven't already. Take care and I'll talk to you next time.
Our scouts speak of a harrowing presence threatening the Northern Isle.